Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a fascinating macro to micro journey right into the very heart of human vitality. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age with just boundless energy, while others experience a rapid, heartbreaking decline? Well, today we're going to explore the exact scientific answers to that question, traveling all the way from the microscopic structures of your cells up to the tangible physical strength in your own hands.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Muscle and survival, 2. The invisible enemy, inflammaging, 3. The mystery of telomeres, 4. Optimal movement strategy, 5. The life or death equation of protein, and 6. The final test. And hey, don't worry if some of these terms sound a little complex right now. We're going to break them all down step by step.
Kicking things off with part 1, muscle and survival. We really need to establish the terrifying, real-world stakes of aging if we just sit back and let nature take its course without any intervention.
All right, get this. 40 to 50%. That number should be a massive wake-up call for all of us. Science has proven that if we leave it entirely up to nature and just remain inactive, the human body can lose up to half of its muscle mass by the time we hit our 80s. Imagine losing half of your foundational physical strength. This isn't just about your physique changing. This is the harsh, unforgiving dividing line between total independence and having to rely completely on others for your basic daily needs.
We see this contrast around us literally every single day, right? You've got 90-year-olds out in the yard happily gardening with total vitality, and then you have 70-year-olds who require assistance just to get up out of a chair. The ultimate difference maker here isn't some magical anti-aging pill or vastly superior genetics. The core difference is simply their remaining muscle capacity.
And this isn't just guesswork. Let's look at the data. A massive study published in the prestigious British Medical Journal tracked over 5,000 older adults. Their findings were crystal clear. Individuals with the weakest muscle health faced a mortality risk that was exactly twice as high as those in the strongest group. So the crucial takeaway here is that muscle isn't just for looking bulky in a t-shirt. It is literal biological armor. And when that armor fails, your foundational health completely collapses with it. There's this brilliant analogy from the source material for this. Losing muscle mass is like a slow leak in a tire. This loss, which is a condition known as sarcopenia, is dangerously subtle. It happens quietly over months and years, so slowly that you barely even notice the pressure dropping. You just keep driving on it, thinking everything is completely fine, until one day, maybe just a minor stumble on the stairs, and suddenly, boom, a complete collapse. The tire is flat, and the vehicle just can't move forward anymore.
Which brings us to part 2, the invisible enemy, inflammaging. So what is actually happening deep inside our bodies to cause this? Let's zoom way down to the microscopic level to uncover the hidden cellular villain driving this physical decline.
The culprit is something scientists call inflammaging. Now, just to be super clear here, this isn't the acute red swollen inflammation you get when you suffer a paper cut or a sprained ankle. This is persistent, low-grade, chronic inflammation. Think of it kind of like a smoldering fire burning just beneath the surface of the forest floor. You can't see the flames, but day by day it is slowly eroding your tissues and driving the onset of chronic diseases.
So how on earth do you put out a fire that you can't even see? Well, you use a wild biological concept called mitochondrial. This is essentially the cell's fight fire with fire survival tactic. It's totally counterintuitive. When we exercise, we actually subject our bodies to a temporary wave of stress and mild oxygen deprivation. But instead of harming us, this brief, intense stress acts like a blaring alarm bell. It wakes up our cellular defenses and actively forces them to fortify and grow stronger.
Moving right along to part 3, the mystery of telomeres. Let's dive even deeper, straight into the nucleus of our cells to look at the ultimate biological countdown clock.
Inside our cells, right at the ends of our DNA strands, we have these things called telomeres. You can picture them exactly like the little plastic tips at the ends of your shoelaces. Their entire job is to keep your chromosomes from fraying and unraveling. But here's the real tragedy of aging. With every cellular division and with every chronic stressor we face, those plastic tips get worn down and they shrink. When they eventually disappear completely, the cell stops dividing and it dies. So protecting your telomeres literally means protecting the source of your life.
Part 4, optimum movement strategy. If telomeres are our life source and inflammaging is the enemy, how do we protect our biological foundation? Let's look at the specific movement strategies that trigger molecular rejuvenation.
When you work out, an absolute physiological masterpiece unfolds.
As you push your body, you cause a temporary drop in cellular energy, and that drop flips massive genetic master switches inside you, specifically AMPK and the longevity protein sirtuin. Flipping these switches triggers a full-body rejuvenation cascade. Your body starts pumping out fresh, highly efficient mitochondria for better energy, and simultaneously kicks off a deep clean, sweeping away damaged tissues. Plus, your flexing muscles act like giant sponges, soaking up excess blood sugar and releasing anti-inflammatory molecules to douse that smoldering fire of inflammation we talked about earlier.
And you can see how all these pieces fit perfectly together. Physical training does so much more than just make you sweat. It directly combats cellular aging and actively extends your health span. Different forms of exercise, from endurance to resistance training, work in tandem with optimal nutrition to protect those vital telomeres, maintain your muscle mass, and ultimately extend your health span, meaning the actual years of your life spent in good health, not just alive.
So what is the actual clinical game plan? Well, not all workouts do the same thing at a cellular level. Endurance training is fantastic for your mitochondria. Resistance training, lifting weights, is non-negotiable. It's literally the only way to stimulate protein synthesis and maintain that biological armor. But look closely at high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. The data shows that pushing your heart rate way up, then resting, then pushing it again, doesn't just protect those shoelace tips. It can actually reverse the biological clock and significantly lengthen your telomeres compared to people who don't exercise. Intensity really matters here.
Part 5. The life or death equation, protein. We've got to shift gears from movement to fuel, because obviously, you can't build a sturdy house without good bricks. And we need to bust a massive societal myth right here. For decades, we've been told that as we get older, we should eat these lighter, more minimal diets. Actually, the reality is the exact opposite. Because aging bodies become way less efficient at absorbing and synthesizing nutrients, they actually require significantly more protein just to maintain their existing muscle mass. The golden ratio highlighted in our source material is between 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day.
But it's not just about how much you eat, it's about how you eat it. That typical habit of having a piece of toast for breakfast, a tiny salad for lunch, and then hoarding a massive steak for dinner, that is a total failure for muscle building. Your body just can't hoard protein for later use. To actually trigger muscle synthesis, you have to distribute it evenly. You need to hit a precise threshold of about 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at every single main meal to effectively signal your body to build and repair that biological armor.
All right, part 6, the final test. Let's zoom all the way back out from the cellular level to the macro level. How do we actually know if all this hard work is paying off? It really all comes down to an incredibly simple, practical test: your grip strength. I know it sounds almost too basic, but a simple handshake or grip test is mathematically the most faithful representative of your total body muscle mass. The clinical data is absolutely fascinating here. A strong grip isn't just a sign of strong arms. It is scientifically linked to a lower risk of mortality, a stronger cardiovascular system, and even a sharper, more resilient brain. It's the ultimate indicator of your underlying survival capacity. Which leaves us with one final, lingering thought. They say the best time to start caring for your body was 30 years ago, but the second best time is right now. Every single workout, every gram of protein, every time you push yourself, you are actively reprogramming your cells. So, I want to ask you, how are your habits today shaping your tomorrow? Are you building an armor of independence, or are you letting the tires slowly leak,